In today's biased news, Israel has agreed to a 4-day pause in the genocide to allow for a prisoner exchange. Blue Carbon ramps up its greenwashing campaign. And major shakeups in artificial intelligence. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a temporary pause in hostilities, allowing for the release of around 50 Israelis held captive in Gaza since the resistance stormed Israel on October 7th. The agreement, mediated by Qatar and involving talks that extended into the early hours of Wednesday, was approved by the Israeli cabinet with only 3 members voting against it. The deal stipulates that Hamas will release their 50 hostages during a 4-day truce, with the possibility of extending the pause for every additional 10 hostages released. Israel is expected to release 150 Palestinian women and children under the age of 19 from its jails. The accord also includes a halt to all military actions in Gaza, the entry of humanitarian aid, and the release of hundreds of trucks carrying essential supplies. This truce is the first in a conflict where Israel has destroyed much of Gaza, resulting in massive casualties and displacement. Palestinian officials report over 14,000 deaths, while the UN reports 1.7 million displaced. Qatar has confirmed the success of mediation efforts, outlining the starting time of the pause, which is to last 4 days and is subject to extension. US President Joe Biden publicly welcomed the deal, expressing gratitude to Qatar and Egypt for their leadership. Netanyahu acknowledged US pressure in securing the deal, basically admitting that they wouldn't have done it without the international push, and emphasized that Israel intends to continue what they disingenuously call the war until their exterminatory goals are achieved. Analysts recommend utilizing the pause to exert pressure for a more lasting end to the fighting. Netanyahu clarified that Israel has no intention of ending the purge, and aims to destroy Hamas and ensure Gaza cannot threaten Israel, which likely means total or partial occupation. While incredibly important, this pause is only the beginning in negotiations for a full cessation of this so-called conflict. Still, we have to thank the tens of millions of people who took to the streets around the world for managing to push their governments, which were all too willing to allow the genocide to continue, for the temporary cessation of hostilities, as well as a breath of fresh air for the people of Palestine. The pause begins this Thursday, the 23rd of November. Dubai-based Blue Carbon, led by an Emirati royal, has secured forested land in 5 African nations for conservation projects. In total, an expanse as large as the British Isles. The company plans to generate carbon credits from these initiatives and potentially sell them to offset the UAE's carbon footprint. Critics fear the UAE is greenwashing their continued fossil fuel activities. The COP28 summit in Dubai is expected to focus on carbon removal, including forest conservation. The UAE's oil and gas company, ADNOC, faces criticism for its role in climate negotiations and plans to increase oil production. Carbon credit schemes and land rights issues associated with conservation initiatives have raised concerns. The outcome of COP28 will affect the UAE's and ADNOC's stance on fossil fuels. Sam Altman, the former CEO of OpenAI, is set to return to lead the company just days after his surprise ouster. The announcement follows an employee revolt and negotiations over leadership and the direction of the company. Altman expressed his eagerness to return and build on the company's partnership with Microsoft. The details of Altman's firing and rehiring remain unclear, with OpenAI citing his insufficient candor with the board. Tensions reportedly arose between Altman, advocating for more aggressive AI development, and the original board members favoring a more cautious approach. Altman's initial move to Microsoft, along with co-founder Greg Brockman, sparked employee protests, threatening mass resignations. The return of Altman and Brockman appears to bring stability to the company. Microsoft now has increased control over OpenAI, aligning with its significant investment in AI development. Altman's vision to quickly commercialize AI tools also seems to have prevailed, as he attempts to strike a balance between responsible development and market success. The future of AI is uncertain, as opposed ideologies on its development arise in the tech and legislation communities. In today's lightning round, the chairman and CEO of Douyu, a Chinese video game live streaming platform, has been arrested for allegedly hosting online gambling, which is illegal in mainland China. He is among several high-profile executives in China who have recently faced scrutiny. Over the course of this year, more than a dozen leaders from various industries, including technology, finance, and real estate, have either gone missing, been detained, or become subjects of corruption investigations. China remains one of the few countries on Earth where capital is accountable to the government, rather than the other way around. The CEO of the largest cryptocurrency exchange, Binance, has pleaded guilty to federal charges. As part of a coordinated settlement, Binance will pay over $4 billion in fines, and Zhao, stepping down as CEO, will pay $200 million. The charges include money laundering, unlicensed money transmitting, and sanctions violations. This marks a significant move towards the regulation of the crypto industry. And in positive news for the day, this week we've seen significant applications of artificial intelligence in healthcare and extreme weather forecasting. Google's GraphCast AI model claims to be the most accurate 10-day global weather forecasting system globally, predicting extreme events 3 days in advance and providing forecasts in minutes. In healthcare, research funded by the British Heart Foundation revealed AI's capability to predict heart attack risk in patients a decade in advance, potentially reducing heart attack and cardiac deaths and strokes by 20% and 8% respectively if implemented by the National Health Service. While the unpredictable growth of AI remains somewhat worrying, at least we're seeing some positive applications in the meantime. That's all for today. We'll be back on Monday with more news. If you enjoy the work we're doing, consider becoming a patron so we can grow and expand. All patrons get early access to analysis episodes and an audio version of the news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.